Howdy, howdy. It's a rainy day here in Georgia. Just posted a review of a book too. I see somebody. Hello. Hi. How's it going? Hey, I see Molly. Is Molly still here? Is Molly on my video right now? Oh my God. I love her. So I don't want to get into the meat of anything just yet. Like I literally just hit the button. Oh my God, she is watching. Oh my God. I'm fangirling. I love her. Oh, there's Eric. Yeah, if y'all don't follow Eric, he's got some really hilarious content. Like, so he's not an author. I think he's like a comedian going for a comedian vibe. He's got some pretty funny crap. I think he should totally start, like, somehow make some videos about book stuff, like romance book stuff. But you got to do it in a nice way. Like, it can be funny in a nice way because you will get a crap ton of new followers if you hit it just right, because we like funny stuff. Especially the romance authors. We have a really good sense of humor, but so you got to do it ever so, like there's a weird line, but yeah, books. Yeah. So, like there's a girl, she's an author, but she's not a romance author, and she makes jabs at the romance tropes. And they're hilarious though. And I share them all the time because, I mean, she nails it. It's funny. So as long as it's done, you know, all in good fun, yeah, we'll share the crap out of it. And you'll get a ton of followers because we love stuff like that. So like she makes fun of like the millionaire men and how they rescue you with the shirt off and stuff like that, you know. If you go back, like if you find some of my duets, I share her duets. Like I'll do duets with her all the time because they're so freaking hilarious. But yeah, so I'm just saying, like if you want some more followers, if you can tap into Book Talk, if you do it just right, you'll get a ton of new followers because we will share funny stuff. And it's really rainy today. Like I just had the longest boom of thunder I think I've ever heard in my life. I swear it went on for like a minute and a half, but this is Georgia. We get a ton of thunderstorms. It was storming all night. So I went with curly hair today. Plus I'm wearing my Bad Bitch Stevie Nicks shirt. And you can't really tell, but in this picture of her hair is kind of wavy. So I was like, this is going to work today. There's no point in trying to straighten my hair today. So, and my hair is not really naturally curly. It's got this weird, ugly wave thing. But again, like I'm not leaving the house today. So this is what's going on. So I have, as long as I can. Okay, so yeah, now that is funny. You can totally make fun of the Fabio cover. We call those the bodice rippers, you know? So yeah, those, yeah. Seriously, if I see you making book stuff and it's hilarious, I will duet and share and all of the things. And then, yeah, like I don't have that many followers, but if the right people see it, then everybody will start, you know, catch it on. But yeah, those are hilarious. Like we don't really use the Fabios anymore. There are still some you know, more historic romance that still use very similar things, but yeah. Hello from Colorado. How is the weather in Colorado today? We are getting some severe thunderstorms down here in Georgia today, so that's why I'm doing the wavy hair thing. I prefer my hair straight as a board. But I live in Georgia, so, you know, it doesn't stay that way. Even if I flat iron it and put a ton of product in there, it's frizzy pretty much all the time. So it's really raining hard today. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to stick with the wavy hair look, and that's going to be just fine. So I just posted a review of a book. I love this series so much. So like don't jump off to go watch, but like watch later if you didn't see it already. But I really love that series. If you like paranormal romance, it's got vampires and slayers and demons in there. It's so good. Oh my God. They're a little long, but I listen to the audiobooks because It's really hard for me to find time to read, but I love to read. Obviously, I write books. But that's the thing. Like, I have this weird mission. I want to get 20 books out in less than 4 years. I've only got 2 published right now. I'm about to have the 3rd published really soon. Really soon. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm working on another, and then I have another book that's already started. So, like, I'm feeling pretty good about getting 3 out here in, like, the first half of the year. I do have a mission, like, when you're doing big things, you have to set goals. And I wanted to set kind of a big, hairy goal, but also one that was semi-realistic. So my goal was I want to do 20 books in less than 4 years. And my shortest book right now is like 65,000 words. So it's a novel length, but it's not like a fantasy novel length, The book I'm about to put out is much longer. It's like 93,000 words, but it's a paranormal romantic suspense. So there's a lot more meat into it. The other 2 are contemporary romance and kind of fun and light. Well, Served isn't exactly light. It has fun parts, but it's not a dark romance, but it's got some serious themes in there. But overall, I think that it's definitely not a dark romance. And that's this one. And I only have my proof copies. I keep selling out of my author copies, which is a good problem to have. I need to order some more because a few people have ordered signed copies. My pronouns are she, her, but I try to be respectful of everybody else's. So if I jack that up for somebody, I am really sorry, and you can totally call me out on it. I really do my best. Is it more Lady Gaga bad romance? See, that right there, Eric, that's what you got to do because you had me cackling. And you probably don't understand dark romance and all of these things, but that's why I say you should really check into that because seriously, if Book Talk likes you, you will get a lot of new fans. But so Served is a little bit shorter. It's the first of a series, but they're standalone. Love Again was meant to be a standalone, but some people have asked me about making this into a series. So I do have some plans to do that eventually. I'll expand on it a little bit, but that wasn't my intent. So I already have some other books that were in line ahead of this. But those are both at the link in my bio if you're interested, and they're both on Kindle Unlimited for now. All of my books will be on Kindle Unlimited. So if you are a subscriber to that, then you can check them out there. If you don't have KU, they're priced pretty competitively for ebooks especially. And I do have both available in paperback as well. But, and some people really love just to hold a book in their hand. I love physical books, but I also like to read and buy books, and that gets really expensive. So I tend to do a lot of ebooks. Even though I don't have, or even though I do have all of my books in Kindle Unlimited, I don't subscribe to Kindle Unlimited because if I'm writing, especially, like I work, and if I'm writing, I usually get pretty laser focused, and I'll try to write anytime I have free time. So I may not read a book for a whole month if I'm writing a new book because I'm trying just to get the words out. So then it's kind of a waste. But then there are other months kind of in between writing the books where I'm doing like editing, and like you're sending your books off to somebody else to do editing and stuff. So while you're waiting around, sometimes I do start other stories, but sometimes I like to give myself a break. And especially if, like, as soon as I finish my first draft, I go read a book. Because before I can do self-edits, because don't send your first draft to anybody. That's probably, I don't give a ton of advice, but if you're a newer author, please do not send your rough draft or your first draft to somebody. It's it's called a rough draft for a reason. So unless you have alpha readers and they know that they're getting a really rough copy, it's like, because I can't read, like, I love beta reading for other authors when I can. Can you say happy birthday to Dixie Normus? Hopefully Dixie. Oh my God, you got me to say it. I'm going to have to remember that one. See, my husband and I, we love to send like stupid jokes like that back to each other. I'm going to send him that one. I hope, listen, I got to write that down because I'll forget, but that one was hilarious. I'm not even kidding. I'm writing this down. I'm going to tell him to say that out loud. Okay. So I love funny stuff. Yeah, I've had a few people ask me, and I actually had time, and somebody sent me a very rough draft, and I was like, I said, listen, I'm not a professional editor. This is a lot for me. Like, I can do some basic cleanup. I can catch a few grammatical things, but I can't fix your story, you know? So I was like, I felt so bad too. I'm such a people pleaser. So I was like, I don't know how to say this, but you should do some self edits first. And I did recommend a ton of, like reference books, because I use a ton of reference books. How many times do you reread your drafts before you send it out to an editor? Like 5. And I read a book in between. So that's when I read all these books, and that's why I don't do KU. I just download the books that I want to read, so that when I get to that point, so I'll read, like right now I'm working on a new one. And so once I'm done with the first draft, I'll set it to the side and I'm going to read 1 or 2 books, you know, and then I will go back to it, because then my eyeballs have been on something else. So it's easier to catch boo-boos once you've gotten away from it a little bit. So then I'll go back, do another read through, pick out as much as I can, then put it to the side again and read another book. So I read other stuff in between, and it's really helpful too. Like if I'm working on a contemporary romance, if I read like a paranormal romance, because it's like a totally different theme, different feel, you know? So you really get out of that headspace. So then when you go back to your own work, you're like, whoa, what is all this crap on this? Oh my God. So you can actually see your errors a little bit better. That said, I still miss a ton of stuff. So that's why you really have to send your work to somebody else. I'm not saying send it to an editor that you have to pay a lot of money to. I'm saying get a ton of beta readers, do get some alpha readers. You know, especially if you need to go the beta reader route, make sure you get enough, because you want to have different points of view, especially because, again, most of them are not professional editors. So you kind of have to take what one person says and then what the other person says and start to jumble it together. And then even after that, you got to do another read through. You got to check for grammatical errors again and send it back to somebody else to kind of proofread it, because, and the thing is no matter how many times you look at it, and I mean, there's plenty of times where if you can pay an editor, you can pay a proofreader, there's going to be a few boo-boos. There's always going to be some typos. Like even with traditional stuff, you find errors in traditional books because there's like this market acceptable amounts. It's like 6, it's like some weird number. But even with, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They always make it through. And one of my favorite authors who has been so cool and helpful to me, she told me, she was like, honey, you're always going to find errors every time you look at it. Every single time. She's like, the thing is you have to get it to a point where it's clean enough to put out, but you got to understand that no matter how many times you look at it, it might be a typo, it might be a misplaced comma, or it could just be that then you decide all of a sudden that you hate that word that you put in, even though it works for the story. Like, it's never going to be perfect. Like, if you're a real artist, there's no real artist that ever looks at something and is like, that shit's amazing, it's ready to go. Like, we always overthink it, you know. We're always like, how can I make it better? What can I do here? I could probably say something else. Like, there, like, so many things go through our heads. So if somebody ever tells you that their shit is amazing, that probably sucks, because they're not looking at it, you know, objectively. So, but it's never going to be perfect. You're going to find stuff, but it's just a matter of, you don't want to have a bunch of boo-boos, but there's going to be a few that slide through, and it's not the end of the world. It's going to be okay. That being said, like, the one I'm about to put out, I've had it looked at so many times by so many people. It's been the longest one that I've ever worked on. And I'm incredibly nervous about it. Like, even talking about it right now, I'm feeling a little sick about it. But it's, like, it's done. It's done. And my betas really liked it. But I'm like, are you just saying that? That it's really hard to believe that. But the thing is I still don't believe that people like my other two books, but I'm getting really good reviews. So many of you have sent me messages and like really kind words, and people are commenting when they finish the book and stuff, like. And my husband, bless him, because every single time I see a new review, every single time somebody comments something kind to me, every time somebody messages me, I'm like, babe, can you believe they just said this? And he's like, oh my God, can you stop? Because it's still, I just don't believe it. I have a really hard time understanding that somebody likes something that I did. I don't know why my brain is broken, but it is. Hold on, I gotta swipe this thing off. But I still, like, I really love this story. But again, it's a lot different than the other two. The other two are not 100% similar anyway, though. Like, one is a contemporary romance with kind of a tense theme to it. Again, it's not a dark romance, but there's some underlying tones that are like, wow, that's a little intense, April. Love Again was meant to be cute, funny, light, which I had some people tell me that they cried a lot, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, there's some really funny parts in Love Again, and there's some good steamy parts, I think. But yes, there's a couple of scenes that I cried while I was writing it. So I'm a baby and I was writing it, you know, so I didn't expect any, oh, thank you for my rose. I didn't expect anybody else to cry. And like every time somebody says that they cried, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like I should invest in tissue paper to send out to everybody so that when you cry, you can like have something to wipe your face on. I feel really bad. I do not mean, I don't know. I guess as an author, you're trying to, you know, pull some emotion from your reader. You really want to hit them in the feels, but like, I don't know. I want you to have more like warm, fuzzy feels and some tingly feels, you know? So the crying thing, I'm like, what? I'm sorry. I really just want to hug you guys when you say that. Cause I'm like, I'm sorry. If it helps, I cried too. What? Sorry. There's like these weird banner things and I get squirrels really bad. Cause it's not humble. I really am like, why do you guys like this? I mean, I'm glad that you do. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know. I have a really hard time accepting compliments, and I don't know. Writing a book is weird because it's literally some stuff that just like randomly comes out of your brain. So you're like, this is weird. Like, to me, it just seems weird. And I'm like, I hope everybody else doesn't think I'm too weird, you know? But it's cool that people do seem to enjoy it. And I think that's why I'm so scared of this new one, because I really love the new story that's about to come out. And it's being published in January. I'll have hard dates for you guys, super soon. Like in the next couple of days, I'm going to be making some big announcements about that. So, whoo, God, why am oh my God, seriously, I'm getting like, ugh. But it's so different than the other two. And, I don't know. I just hope you guys don't hate it, I guess. Even the pacing is different. Like the other two, everybody sat down and read them so fast. This one is not a quick read, you know, with I'm always my complete character someone in real life. So I've had lots of people ask me about this. Everybody was like, so is Jason your husband? Which I made a funny video about because I mean there's some strong similarities there, okay? They are. But here's the thing, I mean, that's what you do with your characters though. You take from things around you and you build these people in your brain, you know? But like Lucy is not me. If I had to say that I was any of my characters, I'd say I probably relate more to Kate, even though I don't necessarily look like her. Hey, but like Lucy, like I probably wouldn't be friends with Lucy in real life because she was a little selfish, and I'm not that person. Like I said, I'm a people pleaser. So that's why I say I'm probably more like Kate. But I'm not Kate. Like I have not lived that life. Thank goodness, because she went through some crap, you know. But like even with tropes and stuff, you know, everybody's like, did this happen to you? I had somebody the other day ask me if I had a good sex life, and I was like, well, not that it's any of your business, but I'm in a good mood all the time, so I'll just let you do what you want with that information. But you know, it's hard not to pull from things around you. I mean, that's what you do, right? And I mean, of course there's certain things that you have to research sometimes, but you know, I don't know, like there's never going to be anybody that's 100% based on somebody I know in real life, but you can't not have those qualities. Like that's the thing. Everybody in your life has these different qualities, and you kind of put things into people. And even like with Amy, I don't really know anybody very much like Amy. Like my best friend is gay, but she's not like Amy at all. She's like really sweet and very hyper, and like she's not aggressive. It's hard not to write what I know is it. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like even if you don't intend to do things, your imagination is going to kind of place traits into people. So like if you have a villain, you're gonna think of some asshole that you know, and you're gonna insert something that asshole does in real life, you know. And if you have somebody that you really love and your character is amazing, like you're gonna insert some of those things even if you don't mean to. But that doesn't mean that anybody's ever really based on somebody else. Like I'm beta reading this one book, which it's so good. She's been sitting on this story for a very long time, and I'm like, why have you not published this yet? And she's just been she says she's been working on another one, and I'm like, if you wrote the other one, like why are these, like it's so good. And she's using a pen name, and I was talking to her about her pen name, and she said, you know, her family doesn't know because she's afraid that they're going to think that it's based on some of them and they're gonna get butthurt. And I'm like, well, maybe they shouldn't be jerks, I don't know. But I did no, like, listen, if you want to use a pen, use a pen. I didn't. And honestly, like, so I've ever since Chance read part of my book, so here's full disclosure, I'm not dumb. I'm blonde, I'm not dumb. I know that most of you found me because Chance read part of my book. And y'all also thought it was cute that I sent him a koozie and $20. Like, seriously, I don't have a lot of money. What money I do have pretty much goes to my kids. My kid wants to go to Georgia Tech. That school's really expensive. So we are fostering whatever he wants to do in high school right now. But he... Oh, I know you didn't. Listen, the people that have been following along and friendly with me before that, you guys, like, I'll never forget you. Your names are ingrained in my brain. Because it was such a small amount. Like, I used to make videos and make jokes, like the 5 same people always commented because you did. So you guys are the ones that, like, I'm always gonna remember no matter what. Like, I really hope I can remember everybody, but my brain is only so big and I'm super forgetful about stuff. But I do remember the people who have been supportive all along, you know. But I do appreciate the new supporters. But like, ever since I had this influx of new readers and followers, because people started following me here on Instagram, I have new people that are following my newsletter, which is cool. Thank you guys very much, because if all these, you know, social media outlets shut down, at least I'll still have my newsletter, you know. So that's why we drive people to the newsletters. I know that some people hate emails and stuff, but seriously, like, I see people get banned from, you know, social media all the time for dumb stuff. Literally, I had a comment deleted off of somebody's post the other day where I said, people, ew, because she made a comment about how it was like too people-y in a grocery store or something. So I said, people, ew, because, yeah, they took that down as like violating some kind. I was like, really? I said, people, ew. That was it. Oh my gosh. So people can get banned and your account shut down all the time. So that's why not just me, but most authors, you know, if you see us constantly talking about the newsletters and please join the newsletter and that kind of thing, it's because that's one thing that we pretty much will always retain control of. So if crap happens and we get shut down off of one of these apps, we can still communicate with you that way and say, hey, my account got banned, I'm trying to get it back up, or I'm gonna have to do a new one, and here's my new handle, or whatever, you know. So that's why we really push the newsletter thing. I know emails can be annoying. I usually only send out like one newsletter a month. Now, if I have a release, then it'll be like in between. People are weird. I have to run. Well, you go. Thank you for hopping on. I love her stuff. If y'all should go follow her. The Mrs. to you should follow her. She makes things. Like, she makes these cute, like, just all kinds of stuff. But I bought like some bath bombs, or they were shower bombs off of her, and they were so, oh my god, I need another eucalyptus one so bad. And then like these wax melts, but they were pretty wax melts. They look like little flowers. I almost didn't want to melt them, but I did anyway because they smelled really good. So she makes things, and there's a link in her bio. So you should totally check it out. She has all kinds of stuff on there. She has bookmarks now too. And they're really pretty bookmarks. So she's got a ton of stuff on there. So it's like a whole little store of things. But anyway, I started getting all these followers because Chance read the book, and you guys are so cool and liked it, I guess, or at least liked me enough to follow along. And I have had a few like creepy interactions since then. Nothing over the top, but a couple things that made me a little uncomfortable. So I'm like, man, maybe I should have used a pen, but it's like, I don't want to go redo everything now and have to start over. And I mean, I think I handled them okay, but I do understand the need for a pen, especially if you're a romance author, because some of this stuff I got was weird. Like, I hope, like, people should understand, just because I write romance doesn't mean I'm interested in having sex with everybody. I'm married and we're in a monogamous relationship. Like, I know that not everybody lives that way, but for me, I've been married almost 20 years, and we're a monogamous couple. We're very basic people, you know. And if somebody looked at my husband sideways, I would probably smack their eyeballs out. Like, so that goes both ways. So when I had people messaging me interesting things, I was like, this is weird. Why would you think this is okay? And it boiled down to, like, literally one of them said, well, the stuff you write. And I was like, the stuff I write is fiction. It's a fucking book. Like, really? There was no invitation on any of my stuff. And like, I talk about my husband all the time and how I'm kind of obsessed with him. So I didn't think that these things would happen. Plus, I mean, listen, I do my makeup and I try to look decent, but I mean, I'm not a looker, you know? So the attention was weird. So I did feel kind of weird about a few things. So I get why people use pins now. But again, I've already like done my thing. So I have a couple books out. Another one's coming soon. I've already got all my stuff going. I don't want to have to rebrand under a different name. And at this point, you guys all know me. So like this is my face. You know this is me. So some people get their... I mean, maybe they do. But I mean, I'm kind of firm. Like in my responses, I really was like, that's weird. You're being weird. I'll call you out. Like, I tried to be like, I'll be nice to a certain point. Because I don't like, if somebody's being genuine and trying to give me a compliment, then I'm like, are they just trying to be nice? Because again, I don't do well with compliments. It makes me uncomfortable. So even if I have like a friend tells me all the time that I'm pretty, and I'm like, okay. But once I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I don't feel like you're being nice. I think that you're being weird. I'll just be like, hey, I think you're being weird. Why are you being weird? And I think one person, I kind of made the comment like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my husband would rock your world, but okay. Because he would. He's a big guy. So I am not a small girl. But when there's pictures of us together, he makes me look small because he's a giant. Which is why I love that I married him, because he makes me feel like a little tiny thing. But he's a big dude. And, you know, he is kind of moody like Jason. If you read Served, he really does. So Jason has a lot of his qualities. They are not the same person. But I think that I did draw a lot of qualities off of my husband for him, because he is kind of like Grumpy Bear, but he's got a soft spot for me. So very similar there, but yeah, he would really mess somebody up for sure. But yeah, so that was interesting. I'm so brought up to my toxic mother. I get why people can't. Yeah. It's so weird. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, so when people say things directly about my physical looks too, that is the worst. I'm like, ugh, what? And so then when I put out books and people started messaging me, which, don't get me wrong, I love when people tell me that they enjoyed my books and they want to talk about the characters or the plot or whatever. But it's still so weird to me, because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you liked it? Are you joking? Like, are you baiting me so that you can attack me or something? Like, I'm so suspicious of people saying nice things to me is basically what it boils down to. Like, I'm paranoid. I have issues. And I'm from Georgia. Like, my mom used to make jokes that you would think I was from New York, the way I'm suspicious of everything. But I am. I'm just always like, why would you say that? You know, why do you think that? So even now, my husband tells me I'm hot all the time. And I'm like, because, you know, yeah, we've been married for a long time, but I'm still like, why do you think so? I don't understand. But whatever, he seems to like it. So, but yeah, so it's been weird. Which, I mean, again, I don't have a huge following still. I got a lot more followers though, just in the last couple of weeks. The thing is I got like, you know, this good rush of followers, but I think it's people that actually wanted to follow me, not just random people where I did like a follow train and I got a bunch of random people that don't even like romance books, you know? So the interactions that I'm getting so many more interactions because I think you guys genuinely wanted to see my stuff. So that makes a big difference. Like, quantity is not necessarily better than quality. You know what I mean? And yeah, I would like to have more followers, but I want followers that want to follow me. You know what I mean? I don't want to randomly get people that are just following me for the sake of it and then realize, man, I hate this bitch, you know? Because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm some people's cup of whiskey for sure. So it's very this way or this way. There's not a lot of middle ground. Either you really like me or you really don't like me. That's generally how it goes in real life, especially. So, which that's why I'm okay with those things because I'm used to it. Because like, don't, you know, I try to live by the, like, don't water yourself down for other people to make them too comfortable. I do like to make people comfortable, but I want to make people comfortable that like me, if that makes sense. Like, I care what people think, but I don't care what everybody thinks. Does that make any kind of sense? And like, I don't take criticism from people that I would never ask advice from, you know? So, like, it takes a bit to hurt my feelings. Now, I will say this. You can say what you want about me, but please don't talk crap about my favorite authors. That we might throw hands over. I'm pretty obsessed with a couple of them. And, I mean, if you follow me at all, you'll probably figure out who they are. But, and some of them, I have made some of the best friends on this app with writers. And one of the gals, so one of my new favorite beta readers, she's an author on here, and I'm looking at her story now, and it's so good. And it's really cool to have made friends with people that understand what you're going through. Like, my husband is so supportive. Like, he's the reason I finally wrote books and published them, because he was like, babe, do your thing, you know? It's more about being allowed to be with... Yeah, see, I would like to be myself. I don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable, but I don't want to be uncomfortable to make you comfortable, you know? But I do make concessions for people. I will say that. Like, I make jokes all the time that I have like 6 personalities, which is kind of true. And they're all part of me, though. So I'm not being fake. It's just, I read the room. You know what I mean? But each of those 6 personalities are all true to me. But there's certain times that I can be a complete cut up. Sometimes I'm super professional. And then there's other times that, you know, I read the room, you know, but I never change who I am fundamentally for other people, if that makes sense. And that's one of the cool things about this app is I think that when you do videos, especially lives, people can really get a better feel for your personality and you, and like the way I talk. The way I talk, when you type out words that I say sometimes, like if I say it but type it exactly the same, it might sound like I'm being an a-hole in a text message, but when I say it, you can understand I'm being sarcastic. Like, I'm sarcastic a lot. I'm really good at like the dead stare, and I can have a joke where I'm being completely sarcastic and I won't laugh at myself. So if I put something like that in a message though, and you don't see my face, you're like, what a jerk, you know? But if you can hear me talk and you see my mannerisms and stuff, like, then you're like, oh, she's just silly, you know? So I love apps like this where people can actually get to know you, and decide like, hey, I like her, or hey, I don't like her. She is a lunatic, you know? Which again, that's cool either way. Like, please, if I have offended you, if you don't like me, there's no sense in following me. That's fine. Like, just unfollow me. It's okay. If you feel the need to attack me before you unfollow me, then be prepared. I don't go quietly. But you know, I think that I really love technology in the sense where we can really get to know each other and see like, oh, I like this person. Like, some of the coolest people I've met seriously have been from this app, because I just got a feel for them. And so like now, like I said, I'm beta reading this book, and I don't know, like I'm a little aggressive with my cheer sometimes. So like she had the dates on this book or whatever, because she sent it to me with Google Docs. So like there's all these dates where she made notes to herself, and the notes are from like early 2020, and I literally like said, WTF, how have you been sitting on this manuscript so long? Like, and I'm not even that far in, but I'm loving it so far. And she's just like, oh, I don't know, you know, like I guess I'm the first person to look at this one because she's been working for a really long time on a different one. And I'm like, I want to see the other one. I want to know, like, why are you not putting these books out? You need to put these out because they're amazing. Oh my God. So I'm a little pushy sometimes, but I'm just trying to be nice. But I think she's okay with it. So, and it's so cool because I literally, like, when she was done reading mine, I felt this weird, like, emptiness, like this sadness, because I'd gotten to the point where, like, every day she was looking at, like, so many chapters a day for me, and we were doing the Google Docs so I could see her notes, and then we could go banter back and forth. And when she got to the end, like, it was so nice, the things that she said, but then I was like, what am I supposed to do now? We're not going to talk every day now? This sucks, you know? So then she sent me hers, and now we get to talk again. But I'm like, I can only do, like, I do a few chapters a day when I'm doing that for somebody because I'm still trying to write. And again, like, I have a book that's coming out in January, and I'm working on another one, which I said Valentine's Day, but I'm like, I think I might have girl bossed too close to the sun on that one. Like, I don't have a pre-order up, thank goodness. But I don't know if I can have it out by Valentine's Day. Like, it just occurred to me that we are on the next to last day of the year, and that's really close. But I'm halfway through, about. It's about to get good and steamy too, finally. This one was a bit of a slow burn. I'm loosely writing this story based off of an author friend that is on TikTok who has self-proclaimed bachelorette for life, happily single, blah, 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 blah. But I couldn't help but notice that she kept making TikToks with this good-looking guy, right? So I'm like, who is this guy? It's her neighbor. He lives in her complex. And if you go back and watch him, you're like, just your neighbor, huh? And you're happily single. Okay. And then she talks about him in these other TikToks sometimes. And the way she talks about, like, the things that he does for her, I was like, y'all are so full of shit. This is friends to lovers. Friends to lovers. And I told her, I was like, if you are going to sit here and pretend there is not chemistry with this man, I'm writing a book. I'm putting y'all in a book. You can't stop me. Which she's been a really good sport. And it's loosely based, so I'm taking, like, bits and pieces of things that she said. Honestly, though, like, I can't imagine my friend having smexy time, so I've inserted somebody else for that, you know, but I took bits and pieces. Exactly! LPK! Seriously, I'm like, I have this one video in my drafts. And it was meant to be funny, but I look a little intense because I did a stitch. It was one of her videos with him, and I did a stitch, and it was right when I started to write the book, and it was me, like, picking up a notebook and tossing it down and picking up a pen and clicking the pen. So I should probably post it, but I put it in my drafts because I was like, man, she might think I'm being a little crazy. But and I never named her, but so when I announced that I was writing this book and kind of what the trope was and what the backstory was, she commented and laughed and was like, oh, I'm here for this. And she knew it was about her, but she called herself out. So I was like, hey, you did it. I wasn't going to ever put your name anywhere on this, but she keeps advertising. So I'm like, she's cool with it. So it's funny. But yeah, like, the chemistry's there. I'm like, listen, like, nobody's that good of an actor, okay? I have eyeballs. We can see you. And she even said that, like, it was either her sister or her sister-in-law was saying the same thing that I was. Like, when are you just gonna, like, jump this man? Because, hello, we are not blind. But it just gave me the cutest book idea. So it's really cute, light, funny, but it's a slow burn because a lot of her books are really notorious for slow burn, which she makes up for it in the end. But man, you have to work for it. So, but I love it. Like, I love it. I hate it and I love it at the same time. But she's a really amazing author. And so the stories are great, but she puts the tension there. So you're like on the edge of your seat. Like, come on, are they going to do it or not? So then when they finally do, it's amazing. But so she's like, I tell her all the time, she's a slow burn queen. So I was like, if I'm writing a story loosely based on her, I can't have them jump right in. I got to build the tension. I got to make it a slow burn. So that's what we're doing. So I am, I'm like 25,000 words in, which is roughly halfway, maybe a little less than halfway. And things are about to get spicy. Finally. Holy crap. But I mean, it was just where the story was taking me because, like I said, for the two of them, it made sense. That's the thing. Like, it hurts me. I tell her all the time. I'll message her and be like, I have cursed you out 5 times today. But then when she gets to it, I'm like, yes. Yes. Oh my God, yes. So, like, it does. It hurts. But it hurts so good. You know what I mean? Like, I did, because I enjoy those scenes in books. Like, that's one of the reasons why I read these kind of books. And it's definitely one of the reasons I write these. But I will say, like, for Served, they got to it fairly quickly, I'd say. Love Again, it actually was a little more drawn out, but it still was pretty early on in the book. The one I'm about to put out, it's probably halfway through, like, just a heads up. The new one coming out, though, I would venture to say, so there are scenes in this book, but they're not as steamy as the scenes in my contemporary romance because they're all different. The characters are different. The storylines are different. So it really, like, what I do with my steam, it really is dependent upon the story and the characters and where they take me. So the one that's coming out, it does take a little bit longer to get to that point. And I still, like, it's not closed door, and it's moderately steamy, but I would warn you guys, if you've read my other 2 books, the steam level's not quite as intense, but it's still there. But the story is different. Again, it's a paranormal romance, so I was more focused on the actual storyline, and those scenes are still imperative to the story, but these folks are also in their earlier 20s. And I mean, let's face it, when you're in your earlier 20s, you don't know what you do as a 40-year-old. Like, I don't want to get TMI or anything, but seriously, now that I'm almost 40, things have gotten more fun, okay? So, you know, they're just different people, and the story did its own thing. There's still several scenes, and like, the beta readers told me they were good, and they told me that they needed their little fans. There's a joke, I don't have any more. I can order more probably, but I had little fans made for my swag bags. It says April Berry author, but they're just the little paper fans, you know? So when you're reading my books, you can fan yourself. I tried to get creative with the swag that didn't cost a lot of money. Because seriously, like, I don't have a ton of money right now. What I do earn from my books, like, some of it pays for kids stuff. Like, I made a video. I actually got to take money from books to pay for my kid's indoor percussion team because he loves this music crap. He did marching band, and then when marching band was over, he wanted to do indoor percussion, which was another very big chunk of money. I was like, y'all can't use the same uniforms. Are you serious? But he wanted to do it. So, but most of the book money that I get, I try to reinvest it back into book stuff for now. Because when I started, I had nothing. Like, everything was done as cheap as humanly possible. But I'm trying to do like a snowball. So what I make, I can put back into the new books and hopefully over time be able to do things like ads and better covers and more swag and stuff like that. Like, it would be cool to have some merch and stuff, but those things are tough and take money, and that's something I don't have. So right now I'm just working on building my backlist as much as I can and reinvesting the money that I do make back into this business, because writing books is a business. So I'm trying to be, the fans are fantastic. Listen, so yeah, the fans are so cute. It was kind of tedious because the place I ordered them from, they printed out these little things and I had to do them myself. And I was like, okay, that's not what okay. But it's fine. I didn't pay very much. I got it from, it's like one of those wedding sites. You know what I mean? Like, you can order wedding, like little bubbles and stuff, like wedding favors, that kind of thing. So, I saw an ad and I was like, that might be cute. So I was like, yeah. And I got my name on there. Like I said, I didn't realize that they were going to be labels that I would have to stick on here myself, because this is very small, very intricate work. And I had ordered 50 of them. So I was like, damn it, I wish I would have read the small print. But I mean, yeah. So, and again, my books are not the spiciest of spicy ever. Like, I don't even really call them spicy. My books are steamy. They're not closed door, and I do go through mechanics, but they're still not, they're not a 5 out of 5 on the pepper scale, and that's by design. I may eventually get a little spicier, but for now I'm okay being kind of in the middle there. I mean, my mother reads these books. Okay. I don't want to scare her too bad. She tells me everybody reads smut. And if they say that they don't, they're liars. And you're going to find a box in the back of their closet when they die. Which I think is true. But I still, for now, I just don't want to go that hard. Plus, I'm not trying to hit the erotica stuff. I'm writing romance. So open door romance. There's a line between like the erotica stuff and the steamy romance, I think, like in my brain. I love reading erotica, but I'm not ready to venture into writing erotica, if that makes sense. Which again, mine are not closed door. So, but I still don't consider them erotica. I just think they're steamy romance. And I think a lot of people are reading erotic romance and mixing the two interchangeably, which that's totally fine. But there are different genres. Erotica, or erotic romance and romance are all totally different things. So, and there's certain words that I don't use in my books. And the two that I have out, there's not a lot of like dialogue during the scenes between the two characters. The one I'm working on, there might be a little, but again, the one I'm working on, it's very similar to my friend's work, and she's a lot spicier than I am, but that's because I'm using her as inspiration, Again, it's loosely based on her. Like, I'm not literally writing a book about her, but I took these things from her life and I was like, I have to write a book about this. Like, this is a freaking book. Her life is a book. So I took bits and pieces of stuff about her and I'm putting it into a book, but she's not who I imagine walking down the street when they walk down the street. Like, you know what I mean? So, because that would be weird. I mean, that's weird. So, but I still thought the fan thing was cute. But yeah, you can get them super cheap. So like if you're an author looking for something and you're like me and you don't have a ton of money, but you have a table event that you need to do and you really want to have some swag on your table, get you some of these from one of those like wedding registry sites. Hey Judy, what's up? So these were super cute, very inexpensive, kind of a pain to put your little label on there. But I mean, if you don't have a lot of money, the thing about it is in any business, if you don't have a lot of money to invest, then you're going to have to invest a lot of time. You got to either do one or the other. In some cases, both. You'll get much more done if you got both. But if you don't have any money, you're going to have to really put some elbow grease into it, My day is going pretty well. It's like stormy, rainy here in Georgia. But, it's Georgia, so that's normal. The thunder seems to have stopped. We had some pretty severe thunderstorms overnight and then this morning. But now it's just kind of rainy and icky, and that's why I was like, yeah, I'm not flat ironing my hair today. But again, I have on my Stevie Nicks shirt, and her hair is wavy on this picture of her, so it works. Stevie Nicks is my favorite. She is the baddest bitch ever. I love her so much. I would die. Like, I reference her in Served because she's the coolest lady ever. I would die if I ever got a chance to even be in a room with her. I've seen Fleetwood Mac in concert a couple of times, and it was amazing. But anyway, yeah, so the new book will be coming out in January. The pre-order won't go on very long, because if you're new here, I like to move fast. And I have this anthology. I've talked a little bit about this anthology that I'm in. It's coming out February 8th. Now, the thing is I am under the impression that we do have a link, but she has not given us the link yet because we're waiting on the final proof of the cover. She wants to release both at the same time. Like that, the publisher, she is the publisher. That's what I'm referring to. So that's coming out February 8th. And so I wanted to make sure that my other story got out before that. Plus, again, I've been working on this one a really long time, and I'm sick about it. I really am worried about how well received it will be because it's so different than my other one. It even, like, the voice might be a little bit different, but it's a different kind of book. So even if you don't like it, I hope that you will still visit my contemporary romances that I put out, because this one is a paranormal romantic suspense. So if you really like my other two books and this one just isn't your jam, I totally get it. I will be putting out more contemporary romance. So, like, don't disown me if you don't like the one book, basically, is I'm asking, please. I know that not everything is for everyone, but it was really fun story to write, but it was very intricate, and it has taken so much of my time, and I just really wanted to share it, but I am very nervous about this one. I was very nervous about the other two. Again, I guess people say I have a really bad case of imposter syndrome. So I could see that, but this one is different. It still feels different. The feeling is scarier and more nerves and just like, I think I'm going to get some bad reviews on this one. And I don't want to put that out into the universe, but that's just how I feel. And I know that there's always that possibility, but I've had really good reviews on my other two books, which is bananas. Like, I feel like not everybody has reviewed it. I think there's got to be people out there that don't like it, and they're just kind individuals, so they didn't leave a review at all. And I appreciate that. I know at some point there will be bad reviews on those, though, and I'm prepared. I get it, because, again, right now I've gotten more good reviews than bad, so that works. Like, it's good as far as the scale. This one, I'm concerned that right out the gate, I'm going to get some bad ones. So I'm trying to, like, mentally prepare. Why am I so nervous? I don't know. I'm still doing it. So that's me though. My life motto is do it afraid. Like, hold on, I gotta swipe that off. That was driving me nuts. My emails pop up and then they just stay up there as a banner and it drives me insane. I don't know. I'm just really nervous about this one. And I am open to feedback. Like with other stories, I've had a lot of, let us read it before you say I mean, you're right. I don't know. Again, that's just how I am. Now, I got really nervous. Like with Served, I didn't tell people there was a pre-order. Listen to Garden Party by Rick Nelson. I remember one of the biggest hits of his late career. Garden Party by Rick Nelson. All right. Was about getting booed off stage. I mean, the thing is I already have other books. That's my cat. Sorry. I have other books that are contemporary romance. Like Amy's story is already halfway done. And again, I'm writing this other contemporary romance about an author that lives outside of Manhattan. So even if this one isn't great for everybody, my thing is I just don't want people to give up on me because of this one. So like, even if people don't like this one, it doesn't mean I'm going to quit putting out books. I just am like, please don't quit on me completely because of this one story. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's my biggest fear is I've gotten this little readership. Again, my readership is not huge yet, but it's big to me because I started at the bottom. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful and still not able to wrap my head around the fact that you guys actually enjoyed what I've put out so far. So it's really scary to put out this different one. Because I don't want you to be like, oh, well, this one's no good, so I'm done with April. You know what I mean? But like, I know as a reader, there's certain book, like I have authors that I love, right? Love, hardcore, I'll one-click them no matter what. It doesn't mean I've enjoyed every single book they've ever written. I just love the majority of every book they've ever written, and I like them. You know what I mean? So I'll still buy all the books. And so I guess, but the thing is I don't expect me from other people. So just because I buy my favorite author's books doesn't mean that everybody else will. You know what I mean? I don't know. Not that I'm anybody's favorite author. Like, I hope I'm a moderate list author for some of you. But like, that's the thing. I don't think I'm at a point where people will one-click me. So I'm like, is this a really dumb idea? I'm going to listen to it. I promise you. Listen, I'm going to write it down. I'm writing it down. But that's the thing. I mean, I'm still going to put out my other books because I've already been working on them. I have covers for Stroked. I have cover for Layla and Henry's story, which I also did pick a title for. I'm just not revealing it yet. I'm weird about that because it's hard to find titles that somebody else doesn't already have. So until I get my pre-order up, I'm not announcing that title. So it'll just be Layla and Henry's story until then. I'm hoping it will be out sometime in February. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to hit Valentine's Day because it's not even done, and I'm still going to have to do self-edits and then get my betas to look at it. So I'm like, I don't know if Valentine's Day is going to be doable for that one. But yeah, so I just hope that even if you guys read this new one in January and don't like it, that you won't give up on my contemporary romances because they'll all still be similar. Like, I definitely have a voice for those books, you know? And like Amy's story, everybody's been interested in Amy's story. And like I said, that one I actually did start working on, but I don't plan to release it until later in the spring because I'm trying to get better about timing the releases for the season that the book is actually in. And Amy's story is like at the end, it's like May. It's like the end of May. So I'm trying to kind of at least get into warmer months before I release that one. Because I'm still feeling my way out through all of this. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit because I'm talking a lot. But yeah, I'm super nervous about it. But yeah, in the next couple of days, I will be sharing the cover with you guys for that one and the pre-order information and the release date and all of that stuff. So, like I said, now, if nothing else though, it's a really pretty cover. So, you know, there's that. I got that. The thing is I didn't make the cover though, so I can't even take credit for it. I had the idea for the cover, but I can't do graphic design or Photoshop or any of those things to save my life. So, but it's a really nice cover, I think. But I'm just super nervous. But again, like, I was really nervous about the other two. This is just a different kind of nervous. So we'll see though. You know, like Judy said, I shouldn't freak out. Like, I should let you guys decide whether you like it or not. Maybe I shouldn't be planting bad seeds to you. I don't know. But yeah, so I'll be doing the cover reveal, the blurb reveal, and like the pre-order information and everything in the next few days. And then tomorrow? Is tomorrow Friday? Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. So tomorrow sometime, well before midnight, but tomorrow I'm doing a drawing for people who are signed up on my newsletter. I'm giving away 4 ebooks. Not my books, though. I'm giving away books for some of my favorite books from this year from authors that I love, that I follow. Because a lot of you who are following me now have read at least one of my books. So, and I wanted to introduce you guys to some of my favorite authors and people who have influenced me and my stories, and people who have helped me. Like, I would not be here celebrating these 2 books with you guys without the help of so many freaking people, because I didn't have a following. I don't have a lot of money. So like, I have a lot of things stacked against me. So without the help of these people, there would be no books to talk about. There would be nobody to talk to. So I thought, what better way to, entice you guys to join my newsletter, but also give you something fun. So a giveaway, because I wish I could give a book to every single one of you, but I can't. Because again, like, I don't know how many times I'm going to tell you, I don't have a lot of money. But, ebooks aren't that expensive, and there's 4 people specifically that have really helped me a lot this year. So I wanted to share one of their books. But only 2 people are being drawn, but 2 people are going to get 2 ebooks, and it's just going to be like a mix and match situation. So, and I have to be careful about the way I do it, because I'm using the email addresses from my newsletter, because you have to be on my newsletter to get into the drawing. But I don't want to show their personal information on TikTok, So I'm going to do the drawing and then just show the name that pops up in the box and like cover part of their email address so that they know that they won. But I'm not giving their information to everybody on TikTok. And then I'll be emailing out their books New Year's Day. So, and again, they're super fun reads. And again, these authors have been tremendous influences and supporters and helps to me, so the people I share, it's usually because not only are they amazing authors, they're also amazing humans. I'm really big on people, and there's a lot of really great authors, but they suck as human beings, and so I don't promote sucky human beings, okay? Now I may not agree with everything that they do or say all the time, but as a general rule, like, they're good humans, because I think that it's okay to have different opinions on certain things, and you can still like somebody. So they all are amazing. So the people that I share in the books that I share, the thing is the books that I share, I started reading them because I liked the author, so, and I've had some really good ones this year. Like, I'm looking at a pile of books over there. And it's like some are contemporary, some are PNR. One was romantic suspense. And there was one, it was so crazy. And it's kind of the reason why I finally decided to move with this one. I read her book, Between Death and Destiny. It's W.L. Brooks. She has another series also, but this one was a standalone, and it's called Between Death and Destiny. And again, I really like her. Like, she's on TikTok, W.L. Brooks. She's adorable. Like, if we lived closer, I would totally go to her house and drink with her. Like, she just seems like the coolest girl ever. So I picked up this book. And I was like, I gotta read this book because she's just adorable. And I read the blurb, and I actually bought the book before I even read the blurb. Like, I bought the book, I one-clicked it because I was like, I love her, I'm buying a book. Because that's what I do. So then I read the blurb before I read it, though, to make sure it wasn't going to be something that messed me up. Because I don't do a lot of, like, horror. I can occasionally, but I have to be in the right headspace. But for the most part, I don't like horror. So I read the blurb. I was like, I better check this out before I read it. So I had already, like, I bought the book, and 3 weeks later, I finally started to dive in, and I read the blurb, and I think I even messaged her, and I was like, holy crap, I bought this book. I didn't even look at the back. I bought it just because I like you, but this is crazy because I wrote a book last year that has been in the works forever, and there's so many similarities. Like, it's different, but there was a lot of similarities as far as tropes and then some of the back stuff that's going on, but different stories still. And she's got a lot more characters than I do in my story, but it was so good. But it was just so funny that it was so similar to this one. So I read it, and I was like, I'm doing this. So I went back to that manuscript yet again, because it had already been through like 12 rounds of beta reads. And it just, to me, it wasn't there yet, you know? And that's why I put out these other books first. Because like, I wrote this one forever ago, and then I put it to the side after doing tons of beta reads, and then put these out in between. So this is like, I'm revisiting my original one. But after reading hers, I was like, you know, I'm feeling a little bit better about it. I'm going to move on with this story now, like, thanks to her. So, like, if you guys like it, then you can thank W.L. Brooks. I had already written the story, so, like, I wasn't influenced by her story. She just kind of gave, like, her book gave me the nudge I needed to put it out, I guess, if that makes sense. And I just, because it was like a sign. I'm really big on signs. So I was like, I feel like this is the universe telling me to put this freaking book out already, you know? But I still had to do more betas. In like, thank goodness, because I caught some grammar. And there were a few things that I could tighten up a little bit. But, like, I'm at the point where I don't think there's anything else I could do to fix it, and my betas kind of were like, yeah, I think you're good. I think you need to simmer down. So we'll see. But that's, yeah, so it's exciting but nerve-wracking all at the same time. But yeah, like, I'm excited to show you guys the cover because it's really pretty. But yeah, the pre-order period will be very low. But again, it'll be on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're a KU reader, then like, just read it on there when it comes out. I don't ever get a lot of pre-orders because I have so many KU readers, and that's totally fine. But people ask me all the time. I do all these things because I want you to do what's best for you, but people have asked me, and I make the most money from the ebooks. So even more than paperback, because paperbacks cost so much to produce. So I make more money off the ebooks. KU doesn't pay authors hardly anything at all, but I like KU because it introduces me to people who wouldn't otherwise want to take a chance on a new author, because what if I suck, you know? And I'm all about, like, I get it. Like, because again, I don't have a ton of money, so it's always like a toss up to buy a book of an author you don't know. So KU is really great for new authors, especially because people will take a chance because they're already paying for the subscription. So if you read in KU, then please read it in KU and don't buy it. Like, and if you love paperbacks, buy a paperback, please. That's why I offer the 3 options. But ebooks are cool. And I have a ton of books on my Kindle. So in that way, like I said, because I don't subscribe to KU, because one month I might not read any books, and the next month I might read 20 books, because it just depends on the timing of what I'm working on and if I have time to read. Usually when I read, if I have a bunch of books that I'm reviewing all at the same time, it's because they're on audiobooks and I've listened. Like, I literally finished that audiobook this morning while I was doing my hair and my makeup. I had like an hour left or something of it. So I'll listen in the car. I listen when I'm doing my makeup. I'll listen while I'm cooking dinner. Like, while my hands are busy, I can listen to audiobooks. So that's how I get through those books so fast. But I can't sit down and read other books until I'm in between my stories. Which again, if you weren't here before, if you're an author, one of the best things that I found is in between my self edits is to read somebody else's book, especially outside of genre, because when you go back to your story and look again, it's like your eyes are more fresh and you can catch more things. It's easier to see plot holes, and you can see grammar and stuff like that. So that's like, I try not to give a lot of advice because like I'm new here, guys. I'm not the authority on anything. But for me, that's so helpful to like cleanse my palate, because that way I can actually see stuff. But you're always going to miss things, but it just makes it a little bit easier to catch them. So once I get through, like I'm doing this beta read, I have to finish Layla and Henry's story. And then I have seriously like 5 books that I just downloaded in the last week because, just authors that I like. Again, if I like you, I'll probably download your book. I don't know that I'll always read it. Like I got a horror book for Christmas because she had it on sale, so I added it to cart. My husband literally just cleared out my Amazon cart for Christmas. He bought me some other stuff as well, but he always checks my Amazon cart because I do that. I'll put things in my cart, but then I'm like, no, I can't spend this money. I can't spend money because I don't spend money on myself. I just can't. But I'll put things in my cart, and so he'll clear out my cart because he knows it's stuff that I want that I just wouldn't spend the money on. So I got this horror book, Ashley Greathouse. She's on here. I think her tag is Great House of Horrors. And I love her content. I just, like, that's the thing. I put the book in my cart because I want to support her as an author, but I don't know if I can read the book. Because it's a scary book. And again, I don't know. I'm a baby when it comes to that kind of thing. Like, everybody has, like, their hard nose on stuff, and I just don't do a lot of horror. It really gets in my head and messes me up a lot. Funny thing is, though, one of the short stories that I did for the anthology, because I have 2, but that's because they're different genres. One is a romance. One was contemporary romance short story. Very typical of the other books. Pretty good steamy part, even though it's a short story. I still got a steamy bit in there for you. But the other one is a thriller. I have been following Dawn Hosmer for a while. And if you don't follow her, she's amazing, and she's going through some pretty traumatic crap with cancer right now, but she writes like thrillers and kind of scary stuff. So again, her books are not typical of what I would read, but I love her. Like, she's the sweetest lady, so to imagine these scary, spooky things coming out of her is just funny to me. But I love her content, and she reads these little short snippets all the time, and I literally, like, just got this wild hair in my ass to write like a weird kind of spooky, scary short story. And I already had it on deck. And somebody encouraged me to enter story into this short story anthology. So I wrote the romance. I had this spooky story there. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I don't know why I wrote it. It was just there. So I wrote a romance to submit to the short story anthology, and it was accepted. Well, then they were asking for additional submissions because they wanted a certain number of stories. Like, there's a whole reason that there's 42 stories in there. And I was like, I have another short story, but it's not my genre. Like, I don't know if that's weird. And she's like, well, send it over and I'll see what I think. You know, no big deal. And again, like, if you've ever heard me talk, like, I'm a big believer in the wet spaghetti noodle. Throw it on the wall and see what sticks. So I was like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no, right? So I sent her my short for the spooky story, and they liked it. So I was like, okay. And I actually made a video about pins, and that's why I made the video about pins, because it's not a romance. It could have romantic stuff if it wasn't a short story, and that's kind of how I came to this conclusion, because I asked the publisher, I said, listen, I don't write those stories. Like, those are not the books that I put out. Even the one that I'm about to put out, it's still a romance. The romance is still the main theme of the whole story, even though it's got paranormal suspense stuff, it's a romance. And so I was like, this is not my typical thing. Should I have a pen? And she was like, well, here's the thing. Do you really want to set up a pen for one short story? And I was like, excellent point. Because no, because I had already decided that I didn't really think I was going to use a separate pen for contemporary versus paranormal. Like, it's all going to be romance. And the thing is if you know you don't like paranormal stuff, then don't read it. You know, the cover will be obvious, the blurb will be obvious. Like, you'll be able to look at it and go, yeah, that's not for me, right? Like, I think that my readers are intelligent people, and you can decide if you want to read it or not. Like, you know, like, it's not, if you know that you don't like it, then please don't spend the money, don't spend the time. I don't want you to hate me because you wasted money and time reading a story that you know you typically wouldn't like, you know? There are some people who read every genre, though, you know, and there's a lot of people like me. If you love an author, you'll read whatever they write. It doesn't matter. So, that's why with all of my romance, I'm not using a pen, but this was a thriller. So no romance, just a thriller, kind of spooky thing. And she was like, I wouldn't set up a pen for one short story then. And she was like, honestly, if you wrote this into a longer story, you would probably it would be a romance with some spooky crap happening. And I was like, true. Yes. That's just, I didn't have time to expand on it because short stories are short. You have a very limited number of words, you know? So that's why I have 2 different genres in there. And then, you know, hopefully it's not terrible, but I don't know that I'll write another spooky story like that unless it somehow is based around romance. I don't know. So, but yeah, I'm influenced by so many other authors that are on TikTok, even like inadvertently, like, because seriously, I was like, what was I doing writing this? Like, because I don't even like scary stuff. Now, I will say this, I'm from Georgia. I don't know if this is a Georgia thing, but I know, like, we have a ton of ghost stories down here, and I don't like horror books and horror movies, but I love, like, I have gone on ghost tours. I love watching, like, ghost hunters, and we tell ghost stories. Like, there's tons of ghost stories that are here in the South. I don't know. Like I said, that's probably not just a Southern thing, but ghost stories are kind of a big deal. We have a ton of them. You know, they're very familiar in the area, and like each little town around here has its own little history and stories and stuff, you know, and I'm fascinated by that. So I think that's kind of how that one, because it's kind of a ghost story, which I don't want to tell you. It's a short story. Like, hopefully you'll buy the anthology. I am going to so like, if you don't win the drawing tomorrow for the books, from my friends, authors, whatever you want to call them, I'm going to do another drawing for the anthology once it's released. So like, if you're on my newsletter, I'm going to gift somebody a copy of the ebook of the anthology. So, you know, you could always try again then, because that'll be in February. It comes out February 8th, which again is my birthday, which, like, that's so cool. That's like a good omen, you know, like, this book is being put out on my birthday. So we'll see. Because obviously we're pushing to sell as many copies as possible. This is not a monetary thing. It's more of a recognition thing. So I will be talking about it a lot here soon. So please don't hate me. But it's not just about me. It's like all these authors together. We're trying to come together as a unit and make some magic happen. So, but I am going to be giving away a copy of that for my newsletter as well. So I'll be promoting that a lot in the next few weeks. I'm so anxious to get the link for you guys, though. Oh my gosh. I even text the lady today and I was like, can we get a link, please? Because I just want to share it so bad. But that's easy for me to say, you know, when I'm not having to do all the work. Like, I was so excited. I didn't have to do blurbs. I didn't have to deal with a cover. I don't have to, like, set up the book at all. I submitted 2 short stories, edited them, boom, I'm done. Fantastic. There's nothing worse than Blurbatory. I had help writing the blurb for this book that's coming up. And thank God for them. Because, like, I started out, like, I had a base because they don't all know what it is, you know. I have some writer friends that have been very helpful for me, though. And so they, like, we literally tossed it back and forth for a while and nailed it down. So hopefully it'll be decent. But, and I'll be sharing that blurb in the next couple of days with the cover reveal and all of that stuff. So I can't believe it's coming up so quickly, but oh my God, I keep getting sick all over again every time I bring up that book. Holy crap. The anthology I think will be cool. It's called Mood Reader Anthology because it's 42 short stories of mixed genres. And that's how I got the two different ones in there. There's a few romance authors in there, but then there's like poetry, there's historical fiction, women's fiction. There's also thriller, horror. I'm missing like 5. There's like 7 or 8 different genres in there. I am going to be sharing some of the other authors because we're trying to get them to 1,000 followers so that we can do lives together. Because you guys know me, I'm on live right now. I'm not afraid to talk. Some of these folks are they're very skittish, okay, about doing the tiki-taki. But I was like, hey, I can do TikToks and we can do like interviews or something. So I can just ask you questions and that way you don't have to think of anything. So we're trying to get all these people to 1,000 so that we can do some, paired up live videos and stuff to talk about the anthology and really get the info out there to you guys. So if you see me sharing people asking to please go follow them, that's why. Like, I wouldn't otherwise do that kind of thing. I don't do that. I don't do the follow trains because, again, that's how you get people that really don't want to follow you. But in this case, I'm trying to help these authors get to 1,000 so that we can promote the anthology together because it's kind of a group effort. So hopefully you'll trust me and like these people and go follow them. But yeah, so your books are in good hands. Okay. Again, sorry. My emails pop up and I have to clear them off. Otherwise, like it's like an eyesore for me. But yeah, does anybody have any questions about anything? Because if not, I'm going to run so that I can go like I said, I'm doing a little beta read for one of the beta readers that did my book. I love her book. I just wanted to hop on here really quick and kind of give you guys a little moderate update and know to be expecting some big stuff in the next couple of days from me. Also wanted to show off my Stevie Nicks shirt because it's awesome. But yeah, I will be sharing the blurb, the cover, and the pre-order information for my news story that's coming out in January in the next couple of days. And as soon as I get the link and the cover for the anthology that I'm in, I'll be sharing the crap out of that. I'm still writing Layla and Henry's story. I do have a cover for it. I did get a name for it. And it's cute. I will say the animated covers are kind of what's in right now. And for what I asked of my designer, that's kind of what I had to work with. So it's another animated cover, but I think it's cute. And once you get the blurb and you know the backstory a little bit, it'll make sense. And you're going to be like, oh, that's cute. That's just the market right now. And so the cover designers are really good about like, they know what's selling. So that's what authors go with. If you have a good, trustworthy cover design, like you take their word for it because they know what's up with the genre, you know. We can always recover it some other time. But for the vision that I had, I really don't know how they could have gotten real people. And the thing about it, I never will have a face. So that's why Jason has no head. And like, it's not giving anything away, but Amy's book is going to look almost identical to this, except instead of this man, there's going to be a woman. Okay. But again, there will be no head. Because the thing is it throws me off if I see the same dude on a cover shirtless for a romance book that I read, and then I pick up another one and it's the same dude and it's a totally different author, totally different book, totally different trope. I'm like, huh? And it breaks my brain. Okay. And I get it. Those guys are handsome. They're making their living. And as far as the authors go, I know, like, there's only so many pictures out there that we can choose from. Why is this not? Oh. Said my battery's about to die, but I have it plugged in. That's weird. Do you find pre-made? I do custom orders. There's some really great pre-mades, but I do customs, in which that's the thing. Like, this guy had a head. He did have a head, but I said, chop it off. Because not only, like, I don't want to see the same dude on a bunch of covers, but I want my readers to like, you know, brew up your own image of all of my characters. That, you see, that's the thing. I really, when I look at a book, I want to make it up myself based on what the author says. And, like, so for Love Again, I mean, they have faces, sort of, but it's animated, so it's, you know, you can still make it up, you know. And then, like, the one on the new cover, they're kind of facing each other. And so even though they're animated, they're facing each other. So you're only seeing, like, the half of their face. So I really, like, I want my readers, which, again, I know not everybody likes this, but this is just me. So I want everybody to imagine them yourself. Like, Lucy, like, when I explained Lucy, she's curvy, and I never said her exact size, but I talk about how she has a problem finding cute outfits in certain stores. So if you are a plus size person, you know she's probably around a 16 or so, because that's when you start to not be able to find cute shit in stores. But not everybody saw her the same way. And I explained her as blonde with curly hair, not this wavy crap. I imagine, like, ringlets. But somebody made a video, lovely video, like a slideshow of kind of what they got from the story, like their vibe of the story. And they have the girl with dark hair, which I wasn't mad at. It was still curly and she was singing and stuff. So I was like, this is awesome. But she was blonde, you know. But so everybody imagines their own characters, and I love that. So I don't want to sully that up with pictures of people, you know. But yeah, as far as everything else, there's not people on my cover that I'll be revealing to you guys soon. There's hands, which you'll see. It's so pretty though. But again, it's paranormal romance, so you'll get the whole theme and the vibe and everything, but you'll see in a couple of days. I'm going to put it out, like, I'm going to be announcing it soon. But there will never be a real human face on my cover. And I know I never say never. That's something I will never do, because I just don't want to plant that image. So I use, like, some of my books will have real people, but I'm always going to find a way to cover their face no matter what. Because I just don't want, like, I want you guys, use those big old brains, think about what you want them to look like yourself. But yeah, so does anybody have any questions about anything before I hop off here and go get some work done? Because I'm happy to answer anything if you're interested to know. As long as I don't give anything away, you know. Like, I can't spoil anything because not everybody's read all the books yet. And I definitely don't want to spoil anything on the book that's about to be released, so... Hello, Kelly. I hate that you're just getting here because I'm about to hop off. I'll go live again soon, though. Because, like, I'm going to go live again a lot here probably in the next few weeks because I'm having a new release, and then I have the anthology that's going to be releasing. So I'm going to have a lot going on, and lives are really easy because it's hard to get a lot of information even in the 3 minutes. But yeah, y'all go check out the review that I posted a little while ago. I love that series so much. Oh my God. And again, if it weren't for audiobooks, I wouldn't be able to fly through them because they're like 100,000 words. They're kind of long. And even the audiobooks are like 8 or 9 hours long. But I listen to them in chunks while I'm doing stuff. So, and thank God for earbuds because you can't listen to them around the kids. No, not. If I'm recommending a book, it's probably not safe for kids and not safe for work. Okay? But yeah. So nobody's asking me any questions, which is totally fine. If you do have any questions, you guys know where the message button is. I'm pretty responsive. If I don't respond for a while, it's probably because I'm writing. But I respond. So if I don't, it's because I didn't see it for some reason. But yeah, hope everybody's having an awesome day. If you do live somewhere where around I live and we're having really bad storms, please be safe. Everybody be safe tomorrow. I don't know if maybe I will go live tomorrow. But if I don't talk to you, like if you're not around when I go live tomorrow because it's New Year's Eve, I hope you have a really happy, fun, and safe New Year's Eve. And then we'll see you in 2022. That's so weird. How are we here already? It's almost January, you guys. And thank you so much for like the most amazing 2021. Like I know this year has still been kind of weird for so many people, but man, the last few months for me have been amazeballs because of you guys. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to explain how grateful I am for all of you people. Like you're really like you're changing my life. Like, and I know that sounds really intense, but you're really changing my life. Like, so before I start to get all sappy, I'm gonna hop off of here. But I hope you all have a really wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.